Climate change. It's happening. Can't stop it. The world's over. It's too late. 9 years? Was that 9? How long ago was AOC said it was going to be 9 years, and it's too late?
She said it was going to be 12 years. I think it was about 8 or 9 years
Okay,
ago.
we got time still.
Yeah, well, life's not over quite yet.
So, according to, I don't know, a lot of people, doomsdays have come and gone without the dooms and the day being there. And I'm not saying a doomsday is not coming. The Lord can return. Say, it's time for us to go. Volcano could happen 2 or 3, 4, 5 times, and all of a sudden we're screwed. A giant, huge meteor
that you were talking about last week
could smash into us, which has nothing to do with climate, although they'll figure out a way to make it about climate. Well, if the weather wasn't the way it is, that meteor would have flown into another direction. Paul Ehrlich became super popular in the 60s and 70s. He is a professor of ridiculousness. And his big thing was we need to reduce the population. He warned of disastrous famine, urged placing sterilizing agents into staple foods and drinking water. He's a biologist. His big thing was population control, which was just phenomenal. And he said that everybody would disappear in a cloud of blue steam in 20 years. That was 1969. Now, in 1989, I was having a lot of fun in Europe, and think Never Gonna Give You Up was out. I think we were getting rickrolled.
Yeah.
At the time. None of that stuff happened. Now, it's just not, like, he has come and he has gone all over the place. The famine thing was spectacular. So the way he predicted it is there was too many mouths to feed on the earth. We weren't making enough food. The world was going to come to an end. We had massive poverty back in throughout time we've had poverty. That's not changed. There's still poverty now. Famine was massive in certain parts of the world. Not here. How many times have I talked about it? We've got a problem with the poor. They may be under the poverty line, but they're over the BMI line. Oh, geez, Chad. So he wanted to sterilize the world so we'd have enough food. Could you imagine how fat we'd be with all this food right now? We'd be huge. So what happened? Nothing. He spoke everywhere in the world, gave him opportunities. This is what he said. He said, experts keep saying the world food supply will have to be tripled to feed 6 or 7 billion people living in the year 2000. He said, theoretically, it may be possible. It's clear it's totally impractical. Not only do we feed everybody, there's plenty of it. We have gone from what we consider the abject poverty we saw that 30% or 40% of the world lived in the 80s to virtually about 10% now, mostly through capitalism.
And one thing that he has constantly refused to take into his quote-unquote equations is the fact that the more people you have, the more brain power you have to innovate your way out of problems.
Correct. And on top of that, and that's what's done this. He said, well, it's theory we could produce enough food. We didn't just produce enough food. We've overproduced food. A lot of what you're seeing in the massive starvation and famine, yes, it's food, but in many cases, it's civil war. Right? Whether it's the Sudan, whether it's Somalia. This weekend, I watched that. You guys need to see it. The Black Hawk Down Netflix special. It's 3 parts about that day and how many days it really was and what went down. But so much of what's going on in a lot of these places, whether it was Rwanda or Ethiopia or Somalia, is civil war and the theft of much of the stuff that's being sent there to help feed the people. He's also went after the environmental pollution side of things. He said that we would be basically evaporated by 1989. We're fine. Then he predicted the new ice age, which we've talked about before, because of all of the climate stuff. And now we're at then we went to global warming. See, but with global warming, it has to go a certain direction. If there's a tick in the other direction, So then we went to climate change, because climate change, it doesn't matter which way you go. It's heads, I wins, tails, you lose in that situation. And you know what's crazy? He keeps getting opportunities to speak. They keep bringing him on to things. The ozone depletion was another one of his big ones. The cooling, acid rain. Oh, acid rain. Where were you, acid rain? Droughts. Oh, we've had droughts. Hot summers. Oh, rising sea levels. These were going back. This is what happens when you continue to throw out stuff that doesn't work. The problem is, instead of calling him on the carpet and saying, dude, nobody's going to listen to you anymore, they keep giving him more and more opportunity to speak because he fits a narrative they like. And we're still here, by the way. We could use a little global cooling, and in fact, Ken's going to tell us we're going to have some global cooling coming up soon. I think we're going to have some snow over the next couple of days. That is global cooling. Just want to let you guys know that.